Yo, what is up, guys? What is poppin'? We're back with the NPL round one of playoffs versus um my boy OmegaJolteon, aka Edward, and the Chicago Carracostas. Um, yeah, he made playoffs with a 6-6 record, but we were 11-1, but he was the only guy to beat us during the regular season. So this was actually a pretty interesting game. For sure, an interesting matchup. Let's say it that way. I did a fuck ton of work on this matchup. I scouted every one of his regular season matches. I built for at least 15 to 20 hours on the team. I get 10 pages of notes that I get written down. So I'm as prepared as ever, hopefully. And yeah, we'll build a hot squad, which we will cover first before we hop into the battle. So I'm too lazy to open up Showdown now, so we hop into the Poker Pace. It looks kind of shitty, but I don't care. Um, First month on the team, for the first 3 months on the team, I decided on really quickly in the building process. Those three were Landorus T, Tapu Fini, and Mega Scissor. Um, the reason being, those three allowed me to revenge the entirety of its offense, while also checking pretty much every mon I needed to check defensively. I got, as you see, the dual scarf here, which actually is a clean tech. On Tapu Fini, I wasn't sure if I want to run scarf, but I felt like it's for sure the best item because he struggled so much switching into Tapu Fini's dual stab. Omega's team is he has I think 11 mons on the squad. Those are Weavile, Mega Diancie, Z Garchomp, Z Lucario, Swampert, Shaman, Cresselia, Fortress, Talonflame, Salazzle, and Rotom, regular Rotom, like the spooky form. Pretty interesting squad. Double Fire, which is really annoying for my team to switch into. Lucario, which is a bitch to deal with, depending on its set. And if you can lure Landorus, which is probably the biggest roadblock for him. And yeah, his offense is super insane. He has, as I said, Weavile, Z-Chomp, Diancie, and Lucario, all of which are nuisance for my team if I bring a fat squad. So I was yeah, semi-star or even balance is out of the question. So I went back into the lab and cooked up a classic AkiVGC bulky offense squad. Probably my preferred style for like in months in general and probably during the entire run of this NPL. Yeah, let's go over Landers first. Choice Scarf, Earthquake, U-Turn, Rocks, that's Stealth Rock, Max HP, 44 attack with an Adamant Nature, 156 speed, 20 def, and 44 speed def. So the spread is here to let me look into my notes. The spread is here to outrun his fastest mon, which is Talonflame. With Scarf, it lifts a Jolly Bandit Ice Shot after rocks and Intimidate from Weavile. It OKOs Weavile after a spike 94% of the time, and I have spikes on this team. It 2-hit KOs 12 HP Chomp, which is the Chomp I expected to bring if it brings offensive, because that outruns my Volcarona. It lifts a Hydro Vortex from Chomp at -1, which is pretty nice. It OKOs Mega Diancie, OKOs Lucario. It lifts a +3 Jolly Life Orb E-Speed after rocks, which is pretty clean. In the very unlikely event that Lucario gets to +4 on me, I still check it if I keep my Lando at full, so that's nice. It does 33 min to Fistev Swampert, so it's a 3 KO after spike, which is nice even if it's lefties. It all costs every Salazzle, even Shuka Salazzle with max HP doesn't live in Earthquake. It lifts a Scarf Salazzle HPIs after rocks pretty easily, does 84 max. If he's modest Scarf, he has a chance to bop me after rocks, but it's also unlikely. It bobs Talon with the rock slide. If he is a Charlie Berry variant, I break that and like remove it for Talonflame to sweep, which also packs the HP rock. I'm not 3-hit KO'd by Talonflame. Brave Bird after Intimidate, and if he's max attack Jolly, Brave Bird, I'm not 2-hit KO'd by that. If he goes to +2 on me, so like +1, because when it's been a +1 Brave Bird, that's 49 max, so that's pretty clean. I 4KO Fortress, which is I guess nice to have, and I do like 43 to 51 to Rotom, so that's a 2KO of the rocks if he's offensive with the rocks. If that's an offensive Rotom, I can potentially knock it out. So all these landers can come in on pretty much everything that I needed to come in on. And I can revenge a lot of stuff. With the Scarf, I can get a surprise KO on Weavile. I can revenge Garchomp. I can revenge Diancie. I can revenge Lucario. And like the theme of the squad was, I want to be able to revenge every mon, every offensive mon he can bring, and go from there. Like also U-turn does like 40% to Shaman, which is nice. But like the plan was to like have 2 or 3 months, or potentially even 6 months that revenge his offense. Obviously, that's not possible with Scissor around, because Scissor doesn't revenge Garchomp very well. But overall, I deal with his offense fairly well, and I'm sure that my squad can beat his bulk, because if he brings like a squad with Swampert, Shaman, Cresselia, Rotom, what else does he have? Like a fat Talonflame. My Volcarona abuses that at +1, so not too worried about his fat. Yeah, I really like the spread here. It allows me to pretty much stay in on everything if I need to, and get a kill, and I still check some of his stuff like Diancie. And if it's a rock polish version for example, as long as I'm at like 70%, I still check that, because I take like 68 from Moonblast or so that's also checked. Next I will get my Finny. Scarf Modest here. Outruns Talonflame as well as fastest mon. I didn't feel like I need to outrun any Scarf on his team. I didn't see Scarf Weavile coming, or Scarf Talonflame, or Scarf, not Scarf Talonflame, Scarf Lucario or something like that. The only Scarf I could see him bring is Garchomp, because that revenges Volcarona fairly easily. But with Talonflame around it and Diancie, I don't think he has the need to bring Scarf Shaman. I can't outspeed it anyway, so the speed here just for Talon again. Surf Moonblast, knockoff Defog. Let me see what spread accomplishes. I think I like Oko Weavile with Moonblast. I think after a spike, maybe even for 4. Yeah, probably from 4. I take only 55 from the Scarf Weavile Poison Jab if he wants to bring that, but I don't see it coming. I got an 87.5% chance to Oko Chomp after rocks and a spike, which is nice. I Oko Diancie after rocks. I 2-hit KO Lucario, unless it's like max HP, which I don't see being. And even then, after spike, I 2-hit KO that Lucario as well. I live a +4 Jolly, life of E-Speed from Lucario. I kill a -1 Lucario after a spike, like after he went for close combat for example. A 3-hit KO offensive Shaman, do 32 min to max HP Shaman, so I can potentially 3-hit KO it if he lacks like Synthesis or misses Leech Seed or something. I also Salazzle. I live a non-boosting item Sludge Wave from Salazzle, which is nice, so if he's a Scarf variant himself, I live that hit. I 3-hit KO physically defensive Swampert after rocks, which is clean. I also offensive Talon, which is important because he could bring offensive Talon versus me. I see a more bulkier variant, but he could be SD or bulk up on a Spadaf set, for example. I 2-KO every possible Talonflame he could bring, so he can never roost up on me. Like if he's max HP, max Spadaf or something, I still do like 60 or so to it with the Surf. I'm never 2-KO'd by Talon, which is nice from 4, because Brave Bird does like 45%. If he's Jolly, but obviously if he's like Life or Brave Bird, that changes. But overall, I check it fairly well. I 2-KO Fortress after rocks with Surf, unless he's Spadaf. I do 60 min to Rotom, which is huge because my team is kind of weak to Rotom. And I live with T-Bolt after 2 rock switches, easy, unless like if he's Scarf and he cannot speed me, so that's pretty clean. So this Finny alongside Landers pretty much gives me guaranteed revenges to his offense. It can switch into a bunch of stuff. It can come in on shit like Crest or Fortress to get a knockoff off, or to get a Surf off, or Moonblast, whatever. Chip them down to get a defog off. I pretty much am guaranteed to get a defog off with this mon if I need to, which is huge for both. But if I get up my hazards early, I'm just like waiting and see if he wants to remove them. Because if I can keep Talon low, I don't mind having my Volcarona to come in on on rocks, because then I can just quiver up on like crest and then bob the incoming Talonflame from 50 with the HP rock, because then it's like it just drops even with a Charty Berry, so that's clean. Knockoff is really here to get rid of a potential AV Swampert, or a potential AV on Swampert, or some random AV on another mon, a random Scarfer maybe. But like last time we brought AV Pert, and my Volcarona can beat AV Pert 1 vs 1, but I need it to be heavily weakened, and with Knockoff I can just remove the item and be good to go after it takes like 30% ship, so that's clean. Yeah, let's move to the next mon here. That's big Scissor. Very solid mon in this matchup. Not the greatest, but it does its job well. And you see, we got a nice tech here. We got a Brave Nature Scissor with max HP, 12 attack, 80 defense, 4 special attack, and 160 speed def. Got the nice IVs for Hidden Power Rock, U-turn, Hidden Power Rock, Bullet Punch, and Roost. Because I got Defog on the Finny, I didn't feel like running Defog on Scissor, or like even SD, it doesn't make sense. This set is pretty solid. It isn't my dedicated Weavile switch in, alongside Greninja kinda, but I'd rather have Scissor coming in on Weavile, and the bulk is designed to allow me to live a natural gift fire into Ice Shot from Weavile if it's Jolly from full, which is pretty clean. So I can pretty much either revenge it with Bullet Punch or Roost up. If he has the natural gift fire, it might be a 50-50 of some sort, but yeah, besides that, I should be looking solid. I also Weavile with Bullet Punch, which is nice. Brave Nature Scissor is really strong. I do 35 to 42 to Chomp if he's offensive with the U-turn. I'm not awkward by Earthquake after rocks. 2 KOs by Earthquake after rocks from Chomp, which is nice. I take less than 75 from the Earthquake from Chomp, so I can come in twice on rocks and catch the catch the Tectonic Rage. Tectonic Rage, yeah, that's the word. I bopped Mega Dynasty, obviously. After rocks, I have like a 70% chance to live an HP Fire from Dynasty, so if he predicts my Scissor coming in, I still got a big chance to live the hit and Roost up potentially on another 50-50. Obviously, I gotta be mindful with Mega Dynasty predicting shit, but Mega Dynasty really can't come in on much. Like on Finny or Landorus, with those two, I'm just staying in and attack them with whatever I'm locked into, unless it's a knockoff from Finny. But yeah, with Greninja, I'm just attacking it. Like thing with Dynasty is my team doesn't switch into it at all, like besides Scissor, but if he predicts that, it's pretty easy for him to wear it down or revenge it. So really the only mon that can switch into Scissor, but overall I don't want to switch into this. I want to weaken it so that Volcarona can fuck it up. Actually, I need 50% on Dynasty for Volcarona to win, and yeah, I will be willing to sack him onto Dynasty if that means I get the necessary damage off. So yeah, I do like 25 to Fizz Death Pert, which is nice with the U-turn, chipping it down. I only take like 30 max from non-offensive Pert hits, which is clean. HP Rock does 56 to 67% to max HP, 200 speed F talent, which is a talent that only outruns Volcarona, but like it's a talent that could come. HP Rock into Bullet Punch Oko's offensive talent flame, which is nice because HP Rock does like 87 or 88 max to an offensive talent flame. HP Rock into Bullet Punch kills Salazzle after rocks, which is clean because HP Rock does like 51 min to Salazzle and Bullet Punch does like 27, so after rocks it's an easy 2 KO. I do 40% minimum to Cresselia. I live 2 Crest HP Fires unless he's invested. Like it's pretty clean. Even after rocks, I have a solid chance to live 2, which is nice. The speed here, like I'm Brave Nature obviously because I need the special attack on HP Rock to get the necessary Okos or 2 kills. But the speed is also here to outrun, to underspeed pretty much no speed Cresselia, which is clean. Because that allows me to get a slow U-turn off. I live in Life of Shaman HP Fire, which also I struggled a little bit to switch into. because Volcarona doesn't have a roost, but um, yeah, that's it. I can take if needed to. And defensive Shaman with HP Fire is only a 28% chance to KO me, which is pretty clean. And I do 60 min with the Uta to max HP Shaman. So this monster can shoo anyone hit I needed to shoo and pretty much dish out solid damage. Versus some mons like Shaman, if I'm sitting in front of Shaman or Cresselia, I'm always clicking HP Rock to try to bob the incoming Talonflame. I think this is a Scissor check and Volcarona check, and I need to bob a Charlie Berry for Volcarona to sweep, especially if I have to defog rocks away later. Um, yeah, next up, next mon, as you see, nice Greninja, yeah. um, gotta gotta go over this set as well. I knew from the beginning I really wanted spikes in the matchup just because it gives me so many guaranteed OKOs or 2 KOs in conjunction with rocks, like for example on Garchomp, and versus some mons like Shaman, Fortress, which I don't see coming actually. I don't see Fortress coming, but anyway, Garchomp. It allows me, as well as Swampert, it allows me to get necessary chip on them to remove stuff. And then like I was like, yeah, how do I want this Greninja to look like? At first I thought about like Scald, Spikes, Rest Talk, but then I remembered, oh, Misty Terrain, you can't rest in Misty Terrain, so that was a dumb idea. But I decided for timid, near max HP Greninja here with the expert build. You see the spreads, nice and bulky. Scarlet, Grass Knot, Ice Beam, and Spikes. No Dark Pulse. My team is incredibly weak to Cresselia, but I don't really care because he's not bringing a Carmine variant, and any other variant I can just like wear down with U-turn spam. I can roost up on that thing. I can knock it off. I can potentially fish for a Scald Burn, and so on. So this Ninja is it 2 kills Weavile after rocks with a Scald, which is nice, and it lifts 2 banded Icicle Crashes from from full, which is also clean. That's like 49 max, so nice investment there, nice investment indeed. The speed is there to creep a mon that creeps a Diancie creep on my part. So if I decide to run 179 speed Gran and he thinks, yeah, that's the speed he wants to hit, and he runs 180, I'll run it with 181 speed at level 50, which is pretty clean. I awkward Chomp from full guaranteed. I think even if it's max HP, it bobs. I bob Chomp after rocks, which is pretty clean. I live every Scarf Chomp hit, which is also important. Like really outrage, I live it easily. I do 86 min to Diancie, which means like pretty much guaranteed to Oko after rocks. Not guaranteed, but like 93% or so. So it's clean. I 2KO Lucario after Spike. I do like 43.6 or so min with the Scald. I live every fighting type priority from Lucario from full. Lucario was the one that kind of swept me last time we played, so or like bobbed holes into my team, so he was able to sweep me. And I'm ready for Lucario this time. I'm not trying to sack any mon to Lucario, but yeah, we will see. I had to be ready. Like I live a modest life of Vacuum Wave easy. That's like 77% from full. Yeah, live 2 element life of E-Speed. E-Speed from full, which is pretty clean. Which also means I live a +2 E-Speed from full, from Adamant Life of Lucario. I took a KO Fizzdev Assault Vest Swampert, which I think was the set he brought last time, so even then Grassnode does like 49.8 min or so. If he's Fizzdev Pert, I kill him with Scald into Grassnode if he decides Swampert is his check to Greninja again, which it was the last time we played, kinda. It was like um, just AV and spammed attacks with me, which was super annoying. I stacked like half my team to it because like it took so much HP away from my mons, but yeah, it has a 30% chance to be 4 killed by burnt Swampert. So if I get the Scald, I 1v1 Scald burn. I get to 1v1 Swampert easily. I 2KO offensive Shaman after rocks. I got 83% chance to 2-hit KO max HP Shaman after rocks, which is nice. I OKO max HP Celeste with the Scald. Yeah, I live a Fire Blast into Sludge Wave from non-boosting item Salazzle, which is clean. So if he's Black Sludge and I switch in hard into it on a Fire Blast, I live the hit and the next hit, even if he outspeed. I bob offensive talent with the Skull. I do 66 min to the most bulk Talonflame he could have, which is the Talonflame that outspeeds Volcarona. I live 2 uninvested Brave Birds, which is also pretty huge. Um, like the HP and defense investment are really nice on Grand. Like it allows me to choose so many hits that I need to hit and still dish off some nice damage. Um, I got like 90% chance to 2KO burn first. There's no lefties fortress after rocks with the scars. Wild scenario, but could come in handy. Could come in handy for sure. And I 2KO Rotom after rocks, so that's clean. Overall, this Greninja is just there to try to get out a spike if a spike is needed. But overall, like I just wanted to revenge some stuff. Ship Swampert with Grass Knot. I hope I can get a Grass Knot off on Swampert because that means +1 Volcarona is guaranteed killing it, which is fairly nice. And yeah, I want a Revenger to Z-Chomp with the Ice Beam. I don't wanna reveal my Scarf on Finn too early if I don't have to. So Ice Beam on Greninja is nice for that, and I can catch an incoming Shaman with an Ice Beam, which is fairly nice. I force him to Synthesis up. I could spam Ice Beam versus him if he's offensive. If I do like 45ish, I can just spam Ice Beam to keep it low, and try to capitalize on choke on his end once he decides to attack me or whatever. I don't know, but yeah, just spamming attacks is great for Greninja because it really opens up Volcarona, and Volcarona is the next one we will go over here. You already see the last one on my team, which is my Kyurem, but let's go over both first. My main win condition here. My bulky offense squads, they always have like 2 or 3 win conditions. This team here pretty much has 4 because Greninja can sweep under some certain circumstances. My Scarfers can easily sweep, especially Finny because he switches in so badly into dual stab. Lando can spam EQ for a win, but he has a lot of immunity, so I don't know if Lando is gonna be a potential win con here. But Volcarona is a very good offensive win con here. Quiver Dance, Fire Dance, Bug Buzz, HP Rock. I consider like I had at least like 8 or 9 Volcarona sets that I considered, but I opted for this one because overall it gives me the best chance to win. Let me go over his team at +1. Fire Dance, Okos Weaver, +1 Bug Buzz, has a 81% chance to Oko Chomp after 1 spike, and a guaranteed Oko on 12 HP Chomp after spikes and rocks at +1, which is nice. I do 50% minimum to Diancie, so if I get the damage off on that, that's great. I Oko Lucario at +1, even unboosted, I Oko Lucario. I Oko Shaman at +1. I Oko Salazzle with its Hidden Power Rocket +1. I Oko Talonflame after rocks if he's Chardy Barrier at +1. If he's not Chardy Barrier, I Oko it from full. I Oko Fist of Cresselia after rocks with a +1 Bug Buzz and can't really touch me. I Oko Fortress. I Oko Rotom. And I do 71% min to Fist Def Swampert. So if he's Fist Def AV, all I need is a knockoff from Finny to remove the AV and get like a Surfer. That's pretty much it. Or like just let him take Spikes, Rock, and a knockoff. Then he's in range. Like the only mon I really need damage of to win with Volcarona is Diancie and potentially a fat Garchomp and potentially Swampert if he brings it. So that's all. That's all I need to do. The bulk here, like the speed again, is just to outrun Max Speed Talonflame. I don't see any Scarfer that wants to outrun Volcarona besides Garchomp, and I can't outrun Scarf Garchomp anyway. So thing with Volcarona's bulk here is I live a jolly life of knockoff into Ice Shot from Weavile. I live a jolly band knockoff from Weavile from full, which is pretty clean. I live 2 adamant life of attacks from Lucario unless he like has Stone Edge or something. But like I live 2 adamant orb close combats. I live 2 adamant orb extreme speed, which is pretty nice. I even like +1 adamant non-life of E-speed does 50.2 max, so I'm pretty much almost always guaranteed to live it after rocks. Like he needs the max roll to bop me there. I live an uninvested Brave Bird from Talonflame, which is huge. Like that allows me to potentially set up on this fucker and yeah, go for game versus that thing even. I chew hits from Rotom really well. I chew every hit from Shaman and Cresselia. Can potentially like T-Wave me with Cresselia, but obviously I got the terrain, so I don't know if he wants to bring T-Wave. Yeah, Volcarona just like fucks him up, like really shits on him. Sorry for the long team build. It's like already 24 minutes, but this team I put in so much work. I had to cover it. I had to cover everything here. And yeah, let's like I think I have to like put Kyurem in a new. Wait, let me like move this. Is okay. I can show you Kyurem. The insect plates, as I said, like just important to get the bobs on Swampert and Garchomp. And now like let's go over Kyurem. I really considered Bronzong in the last squad because that takes away the Stealth Rock roll from Landorus, but I feel like I can afford rocks on Lando. I don't really need superpower to Bob Lucario because he can revenge it with so much stuff and Bob a potential air balloon if he runs that set again. So I was like, yeah, let's go Kyurem. Kyurem here, godly spread again, as you see, 100 EVs minimum in four different stats. Nice. Timid Nature allows me to outrun Adamant Lucario and yeah, live any jolly hit from it. So if he's jolly close combat, non-boosting item, I live the hit from full, which is nice. So I can always stay in if I'm Kyurem, if I'm a Kyurem that's at full and go for the Earth Power, which is 80%. I live any hit from Diancie from full, which is nice. Moonblast and Diamond Storm. Moonblast does like 90, 95 max, and Diamond Storm does like 80, 80 something max. Even if he like it's like 160 attack, I live a Diamond Storm, so that's pretty clean. This mon hardwalls Rotom, which is important because Rotom was like kind of a nuisance to my team, especially if I bring Bronzong over Kyurem. I really struggled versus that fucker. I have a like 87.5% chance to live a Jolly Bandit low kick from Weaver. I take less than 70 from Bandit knockoff, which is nice. I do 34% minimum with Earth Power to Weaver with it, which is decent shit for sure. Puts it in guaranteed range of like Scald after one more rock switching, for example, from Greninja, and like obviously allows me to pop it with Moonblast easier from Tapu Fini. I Orchid Chomp, I live a Z-Quake easy from full, like really easy. I live a Z Outrage in terrain after a Spike, which is clean. I outrun Element Luke, as I said. I live no Orb, Jolly CC, and I do 80% minimum with Earth Power. So after Spike and the rocks, I have a very solid chance to just Oko Lucario from like after the hazard damage. I do 64% minimum to Diancie, which is huge because that allows me to put it in range of Volcarona, which is really important. Yeah, I 1v1 no CM Crest pretty much because the pressure stall his attacks and just fire off Ice Beams, fish for freeze potentially. If he is toxic, I have to scuff it by just go Finny and one turn knocking off, set up the terrain, go back into Kyurem, etc. PP. But yeah, I can 1v1 it, but like it's it could be a long battle if I'm forced to 1v1 it with Kyurem. I take less than 50 from Fortress Gyro Ball, which is nice. I take 40 max from Max Attack Talonflame. I 1v1 Spadaf Talon most of the time if I catch him on the roost with the Earth Power. I'm not too KO by unboosted Salazzle Wave after rocks, which is clean. Same with Fire Blast after rocks and Protect. Like if he's unboosted, if it's Black Sludge, I live Fire Blast after rocks as long as I click Protect on the next one and get more lefties back. And I do 183% minimum to Salazzle, which is clean. And I 1v1 no Toxic Purge. So this Kyurem here is like just a very solid check to special attackers. It deals with Swampert, deals with Rotom, deals with Shaman super well. All mons that I struggle with because I don't want to go hard into Volk, for example, on Shaman. And yeah, the rest of my team can't really deal with that too well. So Kyurem, very nice glue here in the last spot on the team, and yeah, let's hope it works out. So let's hop into the game. Let me get the dimensions right here, and yeah, then we can go from there. So as you see, my opponent brought a very interesting squad, a squad that I didn't expect at all. I expected 5 of these mons, but like not really 5. I expected 4 of these mons. I didn't really see Rotom coming. I figured it had a place. But then over something like potentially Lucario or Swampert or something, because like I didn't expect it to bring the combination of Rotom, Talon, Pert, and Crest, like that much bulk versus me. I felt it was very interesting because that plays right into my strengths if I like bring bulky offense. Nice for me. And like looking at it at the team, I'm like, this has to be Spadef Pert. He doesn't want to have only Talonflame as check. This might be Scarf Chomp, but I think it has to be Z Chomp here because Um, yeah, because like he lacks breaking power really if he doesn't bring Z Chomp. This could be Scarf Rotom, but could also be like a Lando check, a Scissor check, like defensive lefties, I don't know. Maybe Sub Willow. A lot of potential sets for Rotom. Cresselia, I was never thinking he would bring Cresselia versus me because it's like I have Double Bug, I have Green Ninja, I have potential Subtoxic Kyurem, I have Karma Infinity potentially, I have Z Lando which can bop it after some shit. Like I really never saw Cresselia coming. I still didn't under prep for it. Like really, yes, I don't have Dark Step and I could potentially lose to Calm Mind, but even then he like lacks really lacks coverage. I can always go hard into Volk if I need to bop it. So Lucario I figured could be SD, could be banned, could be Orb for attacks, mixed even if he likes that. And yeah, Talonflame was kind of a wildcard. I predicted like more of a bulky set, but it could be bulky SD, and I had to keep that in mind. But anyway, I decided to lead off with my Gran here. Because like it really matched up very well versus everything but Rotom, and versus Rotom, I force him pretty much to T-Bolt, which gives me a free Lando or a free Kyurem, because I don't take much chip. Even if I go Kyurem and he Volt switches, he doesn't really have some sick mod to go into. Yes, you can go into Garchomp, but even then I'm gonna click Ice Beam versus Garchomp 100% of the time because he'll live any hit unless he goes for the Z outrage turn 1, which he shouldn't do with a Finian full in the back. So, I felt very confident with this thing around here. And he leads with Swampert, which is nice. And scouting Omega, I knew he loved his early game rocks. He got them up turn 1 or 2 in like 7 or 8 of his battles this season. Like it was insane. Like he risked some burns on Garchomp to get them up at one point. Um, he like really led with Fortress two times or so. Like he always wanted to get these rocks up turn 1. So I'm like, yeah, let him get the rocks up. I'm gonna go for the Grass Knot. Either Bob or Rindo. Identify if he's Spadef or Frizzdev. Identify if he's AV. Shit like that. And yeah, I decided to Grass Knot here. He is Rindo Berry, which is smart for like Giga Drain Bulk, and he goes for the Earthquake to get chip damage off. He gets actually Absolute Min Roll, which is unfortunate, but yeah, it happens. Like it still was a very small chance to hit KO meters, like 44 to 53. Like most of the time, I live 2 Earthquakes here, but yeah, I go for the Scarlet and I do 29 with the Rindo Berry. This means that this Swampert is max specially defensive, which is great for Lando because now Earthquake does way more to him. Like I think it does like 45 to Spadef Pert, which is pretty clean. And yeah, I like pretty much have a free Scald because he did get a mineral. He can't knock me out with any Earthquake other than a hit, so I can go for a Scald, fish for a burn on Cress or Rotom if they want to come in, catch Talonflame, catch an aggressive switch to Garchomp or Lucario, and if I burn him, I take less from Earthquake and put him in Grass Knot range on the next turn. So I go for the Scald here. As he makes the play, goes into Lucario, which I'm like, oh wow, what the fuck? Like he risked the burn. I don't get it. But this looks like uninvested Lucario, and I'm like, yeah, that's clean. Nice damage here. I calculate I live any non-life orb hit, like a non-life orb timid vacuum wave. I live in E-speed, even if he's jolly. Now, even if he's animal life orb, I live in E-speed. But he could be like banded. I'm like, let me scout for that. But also like, I don't want to go into Lander's T because I still want to choose some hits that I need to. And thought about like what mon covers him going for a hard HP ice or ice punch reading the Lando, but also covers him going for vacuum wave or close combat, and that is Fini. So I go hard into my Fini here. Excuse me, I'm like kind of sick, so I sound like a retard. But he does 39% with a fucking extreme speed, like 38.9, which is a jolly bandit max roll. So I know he's bandit. He could be adamant still, but I think he's choice banned. Like just he's jolly because he wants to outrun Fini, probably outruns a fatter Lando if he potentially packs the ice punch. And I'm like, dang, yeah, that's some stupid damage. But I just go for the surf here. I have I think in the min roll to do to Lucario is like 54% with the surf. So I'm like, yeah, let me just stay in. Even if he stays in again and E-speeds, I can go to my Scissor on the next turn and get necessary chip on it. And if he goes Swampert, I can now 3 KO with the surf. So that's what I intend to do. I go for the surf here. Aegon takes 27%. I go for Surf again, knowing that he probably will set up his rocks here. As he does, no big deal. I get rid of the Pert, which is huge for Vault, huge for Grand 2, huge for Kyurem. Now it goes into Rotom. I'm forced into my Kyurem here. I considered going Lando, but Lando can't really touch this Rotom, so I'm like, yeah, fuck it. No reason to go Lando here on the stunt and predict like the T-Bolt to come in. He goes for the T-Bolt here. Does pitiful damage, and this reveals to be close to uninvested Rotom, which is nice. Could be like an uninvested max roll or something. But yeah, overall, this damage is pretty nice. I have a free Ice Beam here looking at this team. I don't even need to roost up. He goes Lucario, which is great for me because I pack the Protect here. I can just scout for the move and yeah, go from there. And here on the next turn, I decide I don't roost up because he could go hard into Talent, predicting my Scissor to come in on the E-Speed. And if he E-Speeds, he puts me at like 50% after lefties, which is still enough to chew any non-Garchomp hit, which is pretty cool. So I'm like, yeah, if I get rid of this Lucario, it opens up Volt because he can't revenge it with Lucario's priority here. So I'm just going to remove this Lucario as he decides to stay in. Ice Beam would have hit the incoming Talonflame, which would have been nice, but it's no big deal. I am at 55% after this turn, and now he doesn't go into Garchomp, he goes into Talonflame. I'm like, is this like a Spadef or like just bulky Swords Dance set? Potentially even with the Gale Wings. I'm like, yeah, I kind of have to, like, if this is the set, I kind of have to break the Gale Wings here, and I go for the. I know I live even at this range. I even live like a Sharp Beak Brave Bird, I'm positive. So I'm like just, yeah, let me click the beam and see what kind of set he is. He goes for the SD, hard SDs up on me, and I do 65. This means he has no HP and like no Spadef Talonflame, which means it just dies to Volcarona and dies to Scissor HP Rocket to Bullet Punch. So I'm like, ooh, that's juicy. And now I have to think about like, do I want to Earth Power? I really wanted to Earth Power here, but I felt like Kyurem was so important to check Rotom and Cresselia. I couldn't risk it, and like Lander is covered any play. I live a +1 Brave, but easy does 48% or 49% because of the Intimidate, and I can just revenge it with the Rock Slide if needed. If he roosts up, yes, would be nice to catch him with the Earth Power, but even then, it isn't even guaranteed to OHKO him from 85, which he would have been at. So no need to risk it. Kyurem can still roost up on Cress and Rotom, so yeah, no really reason to risk it here. I'm still in a nice amount of health, and if I can get rid of the rocks, I'm in a solid spot. So I'm going to my Lando here as he roosts up. Bad for me kinda because really want to catch him with the Earth Power there, but at -1 is not a threat. So and now I'm in a spot where I'm like, is he risking his main win condition that he has left to my Lando? And I'm like, even if he is really, yes, he can Willow me here if he's like SD Roost, Willow, Brave Bird, which could be a set, or he could like just attack me with the Brave Bird. But I'm like, let me take the risk and get up my Roxy, because if I force him out, I don't even need to defog or need to remove the Charlie Berry if he has it for Volcarona to win. If I get up Rocks, I just need like 20% on Garchomp to win with my Volcarona with Rocks up. So I'm like, yeah, I can't like not use this opportunity to get up my Rocks here. Click Rocks and he switches out, and I'm looking clean. Cresselia comes in, I'm like, oh, please don't become mine. I go to my Gran. I see like just fires off an Ice Beam attack that I thought he would have. Really, where's my Lando? And here I'm like, I have revealed Scald and Grass Knot. I haven't revealed Spikes yet. I could very well be Dark Pulse. And I'm like a thing I didn't do was calking the Ice Beam damage. I don't know what this Cresselia is, but I'm like, what's the switch in here? Is it Rotom? It could be Rotom, or like, is he like staying in, going for the Moonblast? In which case, like, regardless of what he goes into, like, I pretty much covered that set with Landorus T, because I know Rotom is not Scarf because he wasn't specially attack invested, and I revenge anything that wants to come in, and if he stays in, goes for the Moonblast, I take some chip, and I can just U-turn out for some damage into Scissor and put him in the U-turn circle kinda. So I go to Lando here, so he makes the play and actually goes for the Ice Beam again, and he bobs my Lando, which if he was uninvested, it was a roll. Like I think a roll, like a 50-50 roll, I did like up to 78, but 69 min or something like that. It was like was some kind of roll if he was uninvested, but it didn't calculate, so doesn't really matter. He was Scarf anyway, so he might have had outsped me if he was like timid Scarf max speed. He reveals that later, but I didn't know that yet. So he bobs my Lando, which is kind of unfortunate because now I'm thinking like, ooh, Intimidate would have been nice for Garchomp. Kind of misplay on my end, but I can go into my Scissor here and go for the slow U-turn. Even if he goes Talon, um, I can just go Tapu Fini and click Surf to remove it. It can't really switch out unless it's default Roto, which I don't think it is. And then go from there. So I go for the U-turn as he goes into Chomp. I'm like, oh, that's perfect. I can just go into Fini or Gran or Kyurem, and he reveals to be max HP, probably max defense, Rough Skin Rocky Helmet to prevent U-turn spam between Land and Scissor. But this means this is not a threat offensively. It's like 3 months that are not not a threat offensively. In Crest, Rotom, and Garchomp, I'm like, oh, that's amazing. Let me get into my Kyurem here because I cast it, and no variant of Garchomp that can outrun my Kyurem has the ability to only take 24.2 from U-turn. So I have a free Ice Beam here. Yeah, I take the rocks. Doesn't matter. I have the lefties, which is clean. I can like just spam Ice Beam here. And Cresselia comes back in. I do some nice chunk here. It looks like no split death, but max HP Cresselia. Now I'm like, yeah, do I wanna? He doesn't reveal lefties here, which is important. I was like, do I want to protect him and see his scout for his move? Like, even if he goes for the Moonlight, I'll burn 1 PP of that and see what he wants to do, and I get lefties back. Or do I want to go into Scissor? These were really my 2 options, or my 2 best options. Had I gone into Scissor, I could have done another U-turn or try to bob Talonflame with the HP Rock, or like just chip Garchomp more, because now that I know he's max HP, I still need some more damage on it to bob it with +1 Volk. So I'm like, yeah, should I protect? But I was like, I don't want to give him like a free recover here, so I decided to stay and go for the Ice Beam. If I put him at 40, I kind of keep him low. I can go into Fini afterwards, into Scissor, and go from there. So I decide, I go for the Ice Beam. He actually goes for the trick. Tricks me the Scarf. So had I gone for Protect or gone into Scissor, I would have been in the 6th spot. But this Scarf actually means that he is like Ice Beam Trick. Does he have Lunar Dance? Does he have Moonlight? I wasn't sure what he had. So if he like now I'm a Scarf Kyurem. I know I live a Moonblast from this thing, and if he Scarf no Moonlight with Trick, which he very well could be because he wants coverage for some of my stuff, I just 2KO from here, which is pretty clean. He can't 2KO me. Can't 2KO me. So even if he doesn't have the Moonblast and like he can't really switch into Scarf Kyurem now, if he doesn't have Moonlight and Moonblast, I pretty much win the game from here. So I'm like, okay, let me take the Scarf. I'm gonna click Ice Beam here just to keep him low. He has to reveal Moonblast or Moonlight now, which he both doesn't seem to have. Goes for the Ice Beam, which actually keeps me out of range of an attack from Rotom, which is nice. Even if he was max special attack, I would have lived a Shadow Ball because that's like a 30 point ass max. So here I'm thinking like, yeah, let me just go for the Ice Beam to put it in range of Greninja, because if I go for the Ice Beam, and then potentially like go for U-turn with Scissor into Gran, like the slow U-turn, I'm guaranteed to win the game, because then I can just spam Scald versus everything who wants to come in. And like if he is a faster Talonflame than my Greninja, I still outrun it with Tapu Fini, and I have enough sacks left to always win the game with Fini as long as I get damage off on this Rotom. So I go for the Ice Beam. I do 42%. This looks like close to max special defense Rotom. Here I'm like, what do I want to do? Like, do I want to switch into something on the Hex, like into Fini? But I'm like, nah, I can just sack the Kyurem. If I get the roll in my favor and knock out this Rotom, I just win with Ice Beam. And to win with Kyurem later with Scarf Ice Beam, I have to defog, and I don't know if I want to defog in front of Talonflame and shit like that. So I decided to go for the Ice Beam. I actually get the roll and am able to win with Scarf Kyurem here, which is super nice and make the end game way easier. The team worked out really well. GG to my opponent, Omega. He brought an interesting team. Like the trick on Cresselia, while it looked iffy versus McKinnon, it actually was a very smart bring in my opinion, because it prevents Volcarona from setting up on Crest, which looking at his team was, if he was like T-Wave Rotom, was like the only mon he could have set up on really. Like I can't set up on Pert, I can't set up on Bandit E-Speed from Luke, I can't set up on offensive Talonflame, which he was. I can't set up on Garchomp because Earthquake sucks after Rock, and could have the Dragon Tail and shit like that. And like he really built a solid team that prevented Volcarona from setting up, and I didn't really realize it at first, but it was a smart bring. Also, like I think he kind of over prepped a little with like for Volcarona with like Talent, Bandit, E-Speed, Trick Grass, Fat Chomp, and like Rindoberry Bird. I think that was a little bit too much for Volk, but to be fair, I had like Wincon Volcarona. I brought it all season pretty much, besides the rare Scarfer or Specs user, but um, yeah, I think his squad was smart versus some of my usual brings, but in this match he really like I feel like he had a really tough choice to choose between the right six to bring, and yeah, maybe Diancie would have been better in a certain spot, but um, yeah, nothing he could do there really, especially after I got the roll and roll when the game was over. But even he didn't know that I was Scarf Finny, so even like with the weekend routes on this game was always over with Finny, so that's clean. But yeah, that's the round one of Players Field advanced to conference finals, where we will take on either Sebi VGC or Melantosh. Both very solid players. They had great regular season record. We both played them already. We both all of our matches versus them. But yeah, gonna be interesting to have a rematch versus Sebi or a third match versus Melon, which would be kind of wild, but I'm up for the challenge. Bring him on. It probably takes a while until this match is played because we kind of have a break for round one of the playoffs. On again, I just played early, so we still have to wait and see who our opponent is. But after that, we will hop right into prep and hopefully advance to finals. Anyway, thank you guys for watching this long ass video. Hope you guys enjoyed, and I catch you in the next one. See ya.